The first semester of school well underway, and prospective post-secondary students already need to have their ducks in a row. The deadline for early applications at many Ontario colleges and universities, it is right around the corner, coming up next month. Numbers from StatsCan show there were over 2 million students enrolled in a Canadian post-secondary education program for the 2021-2022 school year. That has climbed. As many of us know, there are 3 streams for many students to take a look at when they're looking at their continuing education. There are apprenticeships, colleges, universities, so much to consider. And today we're going to dive into the application process, which can drastically change depending on what you're looking to do. Here with more, joining me is Director of Admissions and National Recruitment at Toronto Metropolitan University, Scott O'Neill. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
This can be a daunting time, Scott, for a lot of students and parents alike who are plotting out their future. The number one piece of advice right now, Scott, with your expertise, what do you say?
The first thing you want to do is take a breath and relax, because there's a ton of information that all the universities have put out on their websites, in their view books, communicating with guidance counselors. The information you need to have is already out there. So please get it from universities and not from Reddit.
Yeah.
The other thing you want to consider is look at the programs that you're considering and make sure you understand what are the prerequisite requirements. What are the courses that you need to have in grade 12 in order to be admissible to that program in the first place.
Do you feel that some people get surprised by the prerequisites and they say, shoot, if only I could jump back into that time machine and have taken that math, that science, that art in order to qualify?
Absolutely. There's a sequence of courses that you take in high school. In order to be in a grade 12 chem course, you need to have the grade 11, you need to have the courses behind that. It gets a little different with some of the math and other courses, and the prerequisites for every program are different. So if you go to the university's program website, it'll tell you. So for an engineering program, you might need 2 math, 2 science, and an English. For other programs, you might only need to have grade 12 English along with any 5 other courses.
Okay, so Scott, let's say you've got everything in order. You have all the prerequisites, you're getting ready for the application process, early application process, because you want to get this out of the way and you want to know that you're going to get in.
Yeah.
What things are there to consider within that application process on top of looking at financial help, like bursaries and scholarships? Do you think of it all as one thing, or do you have to look at them as separate things?
The tricky part with that is it's going to be different for every institution and for the scholarships that you're looking at, if that's part of it. And I want to, can we backtrack for a minute and talk about early admissions?
Yes.
So I was at a guidance event yesterday, and there was a lot of angst that was being shared from the guidance counselors, who are incredible and overworked and all the elements there.
Yeah.
A lot of students are really worked up about the early offer deadlines. All of my peers at Ontario universities are aware of these thoughts. The reality is it's a minority of offers that would go out before the holiday break in December. So if you don't get an early offer, it doesn't mean you're not going to get an offer. It just means that you perhaps didn't have the very high grade 11 and first midterm grades from grade 12 in order to qualify for that early offer.
Right, because that's what you're looking at in order to get that.
That's all the data we have, right?
Okay. All right, so don't panic. Again, back to tip number 1 is that things can happen with time. So just give it that time and give it that patience. Let's talk about some of the non-academic elements, because, you know, there are students saying maybe my grade point average might be here, but I'm doing X, Y, and Z. How does that play into all of it?
Absolutely. It goes, again, it goes back to the research piece. It should be on the university's website, the program page. It will tell you if there are non-academic requirements for the program you're applying to. In cases where there are, so as for instance, at TMU, we have fashion, where you have a portfolio that's part of it, or we have music production, where a demo could be part of the application process. All of the instructions will be on the website, and it will tell you what needs to go into that. And then that will be joined with your academic average to give you an admission score and figure out, did you get an offer or not to that program?
Okay.
And again, the thing I'd encourage all the students to do is, if there are non-academic requirements for your program, take your time, don't leave it to the last minute. Invest the same effort that you would in a summative project for one of your grade 12 courses.
Yes.
And put the work in and pay attention to what the university is telling you they're looking for that non-academic requirement.
Very good advice. Finally, there will be some parents and students watching who aren't just there yet. Maybe they're in grade 9 and 10, and they're already saying, oh no, what do I need to do in my high school years to make sure I pave the way for what's happening post-secondary? What sort of advice do you give them, both academically and, you know, mentally, to prepare?
I would say the academic stuff will take care of itself, and a lot of the advice that I've already provided goes in. Do the research, look at the courses. The other thing I would encourage those students, as well as those that are maybe in grade 12 and haven't decided yet, get on campus. Virtually every university across Ontario has open houses, campus tours. Ours is November 9th, coming up on Saturday, November 9th. get on campus, walk around, take a tour, figure out what it actually looks like to be on campus, because the reality is you're committing 4 years or more of your life to being on that campus. It better feel all right. You might go for a hot chocolate or a latte on campus, talk to current students and get that feel for it, in addition to doing that academic research that you want to do.
I love it. And take some deep breaths. Scott O'Neill, TMU, appreciate you taking the time with us today. Thank you.
Thank you.